would like to thank our amazing sponsors, Touring Plans Travel. Their destination specialists work with you to plan and book your trip, whether you're traveling to a theme park, headed out on a cruise, or wanting to get away anywhere in the world. As experts in smart travel, their agents suggest the best itineraries and activities to fit your family's needs, and handle all the reservations on your behalf. There is no cost to you or your family when using Touring Plans Travel services, and you may even save some money if discounts become available after booking. So head over to touringplans.com/travel and tell them Rope Drop Radio sent you. Now, on to the show.
Helping you navigate the Disney parks.
With the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
You're listening to Rope Drop Radio.
Welcome to another Rope Drop Radio. Derek and Doug talking all things Disney. And while we record, it is actually Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, Doug. We are together,
Yes.
not with our wives.
We did, for the record, ask our wives what night we should record this week. And so clearly they care about us.
They do. So we are spending Valentine's Day together. And
Yes.
so it is kind of a fail that we didn't plan anything with our wives, which is kind of what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. Derek and Doug fail at Disney stuff.
The fact that we asked about recording tonight was probably
A fail in
the
general.
fail.
Yes.
Right? We should have known better, but you know what,
You know,
Derek?
we're going to
we need
Alani
to-
in like
Yeah,
a week and
plenty
a
of time
half. You know
together.
what? It's good. We're gonna get there.
Send
So
the kids to the kids club. Get some time.
absolutely, that's and that's kind of what we talked about. So we are good. But yes, we are talking about top 10 back and forth 5 and 5 fails that Doug and Derek have done at Walt Disney World today. So that'll be coming up here in a second. But first, we got to give a shout out to a new Patreon.
Yes.
Cynthia, welcome to the Rope Drop Radio community, getting the after show and some other things happening on there every now and then. We do some live episodes for Patreons only at a certain tier. So if you want to know more about how you can help us support the show and grow the show, go into the show notes and click that link.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the bonus audio from your trip to Alani, Derek.
Yes, we're going to have some of my kids on there, my wife on there. We're going to get some good stuff.
Yeah, so all kinds of fun tiers, all named after food, because why wouldn't we?
And I found out one of our listeners is going to be down there. Don't remember your name, which I feel bad now. I will have to remember that when we run into each other down there.
Well, very cool.
Yes.
All right. On to Apple Podcast reviews. Thank you to everyone that leaves one. You leave a 5-star, we read it on the air. Eventually, we're backlogged. This one's from October 21st, Derek.
Oh, wow. We need to catch up on some
I
of these.
know. You remember when we used to have the problem of like, I
Not how are
hope
we
someone
gonna
leaves a
make it?
review. Yeah, not anymore. So thank you. We're very blessed to have great listeners. Welcome to all the new listeners. But here we go from October 21st. A Disney podcast with people that are real. 5 stars.
Oh,
by-
we're real. We're
really,
not chatbot GPT podcasters.
There's some though.
There
There are some echo chambers out there. I don't feel like we're an echo chamber, other than of each other, maybe.
Sometimes. We tell a lot of the same stories. Some of our fails might be echoes.
Some
from
people are gonna be
before.
like, I've heard all of these before. Thank you for nothing. But those are the people that have been listening since 2016.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Here we go. A Disney podcast with real people by Jared R. It's got 2 R's. I'm pretty sure he's a pirate. All right. It is nice to listen to 2 people that have a love for Disney but are down to earth and real. The information they give is wonderful and it is helpful. It is nice to also be able to listen to people that can give different perspectives and ideas for a wonderful trip. Listen to this to help make your next trip a wonderful experience with some of the tips, strategies, and suggestions they provide. I struggled reading there at moments, but I got through it.
You did.
Yeah, so with our fails, we'll also talk about like how we could have avoided those fails. That's where the positivity
That's how
of
we're
this
real,
episode-
though.
That
People
is how
are like, hey, you guys are professional, awesome, you experts of Disney. No, not always.
This review was perfect.
It did.
Right? Because we're real. We have had fails. And
We have.
Some have been bigger than others. Some are nitpicky. Some are big. I don't know, Derek. I feel like we don't fail all the time.
I'm learning. I'm getting better. Every trip, I feel
Every
like I
trip.
learned something new. I did talk to my wife about it beforehand, and one of my fails is from back in the day. But yeah, you learn the more you go, the more you listen to other podcasts and other people in the Disney community.
I think every trip I have fails of some sort.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether it's just not thinking ahead about a bus or ADR or Lightning Lane. Little fails.
Yep.
some of which are very avoidable. So are we ready to talk about our fails?
Let's go. So we're each giving 5. No order in particular for mine. I just kind of did the first 5. But who wants to go first, Doug?
I don't care. Up to you. Should we flip a coin?
We don't. Well, I'm going to give you this. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl, so you pick. Also, congrats that your Chiefs won.
Yes. It was a wonderful day.
Yep.
Wonderful day. Now I get to buy a new shirt. This is Champions on it. So because of that,
all the Eagle listeners just turned off our show, by the way.
Oh, Gary, I
Gary's
don't know
out.
if Gary's ever going to talk to me again. I'm not sure. I hope so. I hope Gary talks to me again.
Gary, we like you.
Yeah. All right. So does that mean I'm
going first? There you go.
All right. So my first fail goes way back in the day to our first trip with kids. And it was a warm October day. We loaded up the car and we drove to Kansas City, about 2.5 hours, stayed the night in a hotel, flew out early the next day. That night before, we're like going through, making sure we have everything packed just right, because the stuff that we used in that hotel that night, we're going to throw back in the car. We're going to carry dirty clothes all the way to Florida, right? And we noticed Samantha wore like flip-floppy sandals, like a 2.5-year-old would wear. And she did not have her tennis shoes on. They were sitting by the door at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just went to a wrestling meet without a toddler's shoes, and my wife had to go to Walmart to get some shoes. So this is something I've learned.
Right. So we forgot shoes. So we had to go to Target, which it was open for, I think, about 10 minutes from when we realized this. So we zipped just a few blocks to Target, found the one pair of tennis shoes they had in her size. And so then she walked around Disney World for the first time ever in brand new shoes, which not recommended for anyone. You want them broken in. I mean, she spent a ton of time in the stroller, but even a 3-year-old, she turned 3 a month later. So she was 2 still, but she turned 3. Even a 3-year-old still is going to walk more at Disney World with a stroller present than they are, because you're standing in line, you're walking in line. We're not those type of parents that carry our kids everywhere because, I don't know, they're heavy, or I'm wimpy, or I just don't like to. I don't know, Derek. Does that make sense? I'm just not a carrier.
I carry way too much.
You do, and why are you carrying your kid? So they got legs. So she did walk a lot. There was only a few blisters. So that was our first fail with kids. Didn't even get to the park yet.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So remember, packing list, check it twice like Santa.
I like it. All right, well, mine on the list is a fun one. This has actually happened twice at Epcot, and I love Mickey pretzels. They're one of my favorite foods, a food group in itself because it's Mickey shaped. And I was like, oh, I got to get a pretzel for the trip. I got to tag it on the Instagram and Twitter. Everyone knows I'm the Mickey pretzel guy. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh no, park closes in 5 minutes. I better get one. So I beeline, I see the stand, and there's one pretzel left. I'm like, aha, it was meant to be. And I've learned now 2 times. Do not buy the last pretzel when it's the last one on the stand. It was hard as a rock. Even the cast member was like, really? I'm like, here's my money. And then I'm gnawing on it like a dog eating a bone on the way back, trying to force it, water now, choking it down. So, lesson learned, don't get that 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, whenever it closes, pretzel from the pretzel cart.
What time of day do you think that was made?
The day before. No joke.
A day old.
I
right?
guarantee it. So it's happened twice at Epcot at 2 different stands, and I've learned my lesson.
Were you trying to be like the professional hot dog eaters, where they're dipping their buns in the water to try to?
Actually, yeah. I was anything I could. We didn't even finish it. Didn't even get halfway through. So fail.
Do you call me the next day saying my jaw's really sore?
I've done that before. I did that. My tooth is better now, Doug. So there you go.
You just had to tell me about your tooth, and it fixed it, right?
It does. It works every time.
I don't know that I even really responded to your complaint. I don't know.
Thanks,
I usually
dentist.
just say, take some Advil. You probably grind last night because you're stressed out about something.
That pretzel that I ate stresses me out. So.
And you can't get the cheese to dip it in.
No.
So you just left there high and dry.
Mm-hmm. So learning. Oof. Not doing that again. In fact, I haven't gotten a pretzel. I did on the last trip, but not for a little while before then. But that was at noon.
Do you think you're to the point where early on in this show, 2016, 2017, 2018, the pretzel, your thing, right?
And now it's Gaston cinnamon roll.
Yes, but do you feel like you're still obligated to get a pretzel because of the listeners?
Absolutely. And anytime I tag or post it on any social media, I get a ton of comments and interactions. So just like you would Dole Whip, I started off with the Mickey pretzel. That's my thing. And so I still try to do it whenever possible. So there you go. That's my fail. Don't get the food at the end of the night. It's probably good just in general.
Right. Yeah, it's a good one. All right. Moving on to my next one on the list in no particular order. Why was I going to say party? Oh, because one time, this is back to that same trip, first trip with kids, October, we had a Halloween party we were going to go to. First night, we're at the Magic Kingdom. There's a Halloween party that night. We're leaving. We're noticing everybody coming in was wearing costumes, including the adults. We only brought costumes for Samantha and Alden. We didn't bring anything for the adults. So that night we hopped in the old rental car, went to Walmart. Michelle found the last costumes on the shelf for us. So we were pirates along with Alden. Samantha was a princess. So we were pirates and princesses. Fit the theme.
Hey, that's a great theme. I'm glad you were able to find something.
Yeah. So parents, you're wearing a costume too. Don't, like, we were thinking, oh, Halloween party. The kids dress up. They
Everyone
trick or treat.
dresses up.
Everyone. Yeah. So there, you'll see those people though. You'll see, and they have that look on their face like, that was a fail.
Yep.
So
or
don't,
like when we failed wearing Christmas stuff at a Halloween party. That was
purpose. That was awesome. Great. We did great. I loved when the cast members figured it out.
Yep.
Like, oh, that's your costume. And we said Merry Christmas to everyone.
It was
we were obnoxious. We were obnoxious. An honorable mention fail that tags right into that one. We also learned travel time to Halloween parties, Christmas parties. It's twice as long as you think.
Yep. Learned that the first time.
Whatever you think you need, double it.
Yep.
It's getting to a Christmas party on a bus or a Halloween party on a bus might be the most obnoxious bus ride you'll ever have. It just, there's not enough.
I will agree with that. Absolutely.
It's like everybody's going, and then you're wondering like, how many people are going to this party? Because our whole resort seems to be in line. Mm-hmm. Because everybody's trying to get there at one little window of time. So go early. Absolutely. You won't be sad. Yeah. So that was a piggyback. All right. Derek
has forgotten to get ADRs at the ADR window. In fact, I did get it in time for Alani this trip. So yay, good job, Derek. But one in particular I will never forget because Star Wars was opening. We were going to be there opening day. I was like, okay, I'm not going to go to Oga's opening day, but I wanted to go the second day. And I remembered like a couple days, oh no, I forgot to get up and get Oga's. Thank goodness I was able to use touring plans and get Oga's, but then I have a double fail because we got to Oga's and I wanted to go in shocked. Like I thought there was food involved. I didn't know it was just drinks. So I bring my kids in. We're like, hey, can we get a food menu? And it's packed because it's like the second day it's been open and my kids are miserable. It's so
you don't
crowded.
Feed them, Derek.
Yes. But in here I was like, hey, we're going to get food in Star Wars. And yeah, it was just, my wife ended up taking them out. I kind of chugged my drink and was like, yep, that was a fail. So double fail on not getting the ADR, get lucky, get the ADR, and don't prepare myself not looking at the menu because I want to be surprised.
Always look at a menu,
yes.
Right?
Yep.
There's no surprise worth that, right? Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, you're like, yep, my kids are starving, and they have some snacks.
It was not real snacks for kids.
It's not a meal.
I had prepped my kids. I'm like, ooh, Star Wars lunch and food. And, yeah.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Yep.
You end up just getting a Ronto wrap, because that's food. That's good stuff.
I can't remember. I'm assuming Ronto.
I can't imagine kids jumped at the chance for a Ronto wrap, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
That was.
Missing that ADR window is big. That's a common fail, and that's something where you need to set an alarm in your calendar so you are ready to go.
I did that for got my character breakfast for Alani, so
it's good.
Can't think of what that restaurant's called, but I got the reservation on the 30-day window.
You'll tell us in a couple weeks.
I will. Stay tuned.
Yep. And it'll be fascinating. So
can't wait.
That's a good one, Derek. That's a good one. My next one is not having enough strollers. Yeah, that's right. We didn't have enough strollers one time.
Nope.
We had the double stroller for a 2-year-old Claire, 4-year-old Alden. We thought 6-year-old Samantha would be fine. we were wrong. So we had 3 kids fighting over 2 seats for 5 days before we finally broke down, went to Target, bought an umbrella stroller, and used that umbrella stroller for like the next 3 days. It was a fail. We did
I've
not
done that same exact fail.
like the amount of steps. So 6-year-old stroller. I will live and die by that statement. Yep. And this was before the days of Kingdom strollers, because I'm old. That's about when they started to open, though. But we had already been in the habit of bringing our own double stroller. So, yeah, that was a fail. You can't have enough seats in a stroller for little toddler butts. Otherwise, they fight over it, and that's just one more fight you don't need when it's 95 degrees and 95% humidity, fighting over the stroller. Am I right?
That is correct.
All right, Derek.
All right. I know you know this one. I love this one. So I am blessed. Genie Plus is now launching, and so you guys are like, Derek, we're going to pay for you to get Genie Plus. We're going to have you go through all the ringers with it, try it out. I mean, it's only been out for a couple weeks when we're down there.
Yeah. We had just done it, and then we're like,
let's see if Derek can do it, and then we can talk about it on the show. So you guys sent me a Disney gift card. I plugged it in, got my phone going, and then it stormed, and it rained hard, and my phone died.
Why did it die in the rain, though? Was somebody doing a story?
I like to do Insta story. Yes, exactly. That is what Derek does in the rain in Florida, is record it. And I was jumping around, dancing, everyone else. And so I have fun. Rain doesn't bother me. But it was an intriguing moment. And then my phone died, and it didn't come back to life for almost 48 hours. So I then couldn't use Genie Plus for the next couple days because I didn't have a phone. And thank goodness that it somehow magically came back on. And ironically, it's like my 5-year-old's like airplane phone now. So it still works. But I was like, it's done forever. And I didn't know what to do.
There was a moment where I'm texting you, and then I Facebook message you, and then I Twitter message, and then I'm just like, okay,
I think
Derek.
You finally talked to Madison.
Yeah, but like she had her phone off or didn't have it with her. Like she went to Epcot or something with you separated, right?
Yeah, we did. We separated.
And then
it was like the 80s where I'm like, hey, we're going to meet at this location around this time. And you know what? It worked. We found each other.
And I thought you were dead.
Yep.
I thought, somebody finally just did away with Derek.
And the following day was Disney Plus Day, so I don't have any pictures and all that content I could have gotten from my phone. So, fail.
So, lesson here.
Take care. When it rains, put your phone in a plastic bag, pocket, purse, something. Do not take it out and do things.
No Instagram story is that important to jeopardize your phone. Especially since your trip is, like, in need of your phone.
Yes.
Like, I can hear people like, disconnect is good, but not when you need to make lightning lanes.
Yep. Lightning lanes. So dining, you got to use through the phone back then. It was a lot. So, yeah, take care of your phone for sure. They give you the baggie at Splash Mountain sometimes. You got to use them.
Not now.
Not now.
Wah. Yeah, I take snack baggies for that. They fit. My phone fits perfectly. If you have a Plus, it doesn't fit, though.
I have a Max Plus now.
Or Max, is that what it's called?
Max,
Plus? Yeah. Too many verbs or adjectives, pronouns, nouns. I'm not good at grammar.
You've gone through them all.
I got
One
it right.
One of them's right.
What was it? You have the journalism degree.
I have a broadcast journalism degree. I learned how to work a camera and edit.
I know. You had to take more English than I did.
Not much.
Okay. Is it my turn now?
It is.
That was a good one. That's important. Learn from Derek's mistake there, folks. This one goes to the day Rise of the Resistance opened. We got there at like 3 a.m. Stood there with other crazy people. They slowly moved us. There was a lot of people. Once we're on like Hollywood Boulevard there, they are telling people in the very front few rows some really important information. We couldn't hear it at all. And then they handed back pamphlets about making this thing called a virtual queue or a boarding group. No idea what it was talking about. They almost communicated their ideas with us. And so Michelle made hers, but when we went through the tap styles, they were kind of just like, yeah, just go, just go. So I never actually tapped into the park that day. So it wouldn't let me make a boarding group because I wasn't there. And this was in the day you had to be in the park to make it. And it was the biggest cluster ever. And had we really, like, if we would have been a little bit closer to the front, I mean, we were not far. We would have heard what they were saying about virtual queues, and it would have made sense. But we didn't. So then when they opened, we went and like somebody had to help make my virtual queue, and then they put it at this time, and we were with Alex Sneck, and he got one at that time, and Lynn Testa was in another group, and it was just like chaos, people going everywhere, and then we all went and stood by the ride and argued with the cast members because we were so confused. It was a fail. I don't know if it was necessarily all our fail, other than we stood by the ride for 4 hours for no reason.
But you got on.
After we got in the line and then they kicked us out of the line, we sat in the line for like an hour and then went down. Also, sitting in that line, Michelle and I were talking, and two people behind me recognized me by my voice, and that was the first time I was ever recognized by my voice in the park. So that's
awesome.
That was really the highlight.
Cool. There you go.
Yeah. So you hear me. I have a distinct voice. I'm told.
You do?
I'm sorry, but so yeah. And then as we're leaving, they're like, "We're gonna tap your magic band and put your ride back on," and of course that didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So then we had to talk our way back into it. We ended up going on it like 3 times. Because I think I talked a lot and they were annoyed by me, but like none of the technology really worked. They didn't explain it well, and we just hovered. We didn't need to hover. Oh, it's quite the day.
And notice now with Guardians and Tron how many previews they're doing. Well, just getting those bulk out of the way, getting the AP and DVC and cast member previews in there so they can trial and error, work things out.
And also, when they opened Guardians of the Galaxy, you know what didn't happen? A mob of people at the park, at Rope Drop, that just went and stood in the way. So the virtual queues, love them or hate them, it really works for these new attractions opening. It might take you the first couple days to get it, but it's better than getting up. Like, we left the hotel at like 2:15 in the morning or some stupid thing like that. And it was December, and it was cold. And I remember, like...
I don't feel bad.
No. Lynn Testa brought coffee and hot chocolate for, like, everyone that was there. Nice. Yeah, he made lots of friends. Met lots of people that day. And then we all shivered. Well, I didn't shiver. They shivered. The Floridians shivered. We were kind of like, it's not bad. It's,
a nice fall day.
55. So...
That was 51 today.
So that was a fail, kind of a weird fail. Like, we didn't need... See, the thing is... If we had known what we knew a few hours later, we didn't need to get up. But that was also when you had to be in the park to make a virtual or a boarding group. Now you don't have to do that. Thankfully, you can be in the airport in Nebraska and make your boarding groups, which is fantastic. Done it. We've done it from an airplane.
There you go.
Michelle's done it while we're on an airplane, Derek.
That has happened.
She did that for us once. So, yeah, we got to Florida, and she's like, here's your boarding group. We went straight to Rise of the Resistance. Fantastic. The life we live.
We do. We still make mistakes, but it's great.
Yeah, lots of mistakes. So I don't know. Was that really a fail?
That was weird.
So.
I don't know. That was
a weird one.
Weird ramble, Doug. So let us know.
That once a show.
All right. I'm going to just move on to my next fail because I asked my wife, what is my worst fail? And she reminded me back when my kids were young and before the show even really started, I used to rope drop to park close, push the kids to their breaking point, and we would have meltdowns or kids asleep on sidewalk, or I was that dad carrying kids on a bus. I've like a kid in each arm and I'm in pain and there's no stroller and I have to carry them up the stairs to Coronado because they don't have an elevator. So, I learned there is something about taking a break during the day, especially when your kids are younger, and not pushing them as hard as I like to go. So I have learned, and now we do take breaks.
Breaks are good.
Yeah.
Some of the best. The key is, though, rope drop, park close. the break in the middle.
That's true.
So you're still going rope drop to park close,
Yep.
just in a much, much nicer, more enjoyable
And I'm not
way.
going as hard. Like, now that I've done every attraction and my kids have gone multiple times, it is nice that I'm like, we gotta go! And we're like sprinting to each thing. So, no, we don't do that anymore.
If it's your first trip, by all means.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
100%.
I'll stand out of the way. Cheer you on.
We'll give you
Go
all
team.
the advice. Go get them.
Yep.
Go do all the things. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, that's a good one, Derek. Not taking the break. And I think
I've had kids fall asleep at character dinners.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you push through the whole day. You've done all the things, but did you do them because you had kids asleep?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one, Derek.
There you go. All right, what do you
It's
got
a good one.
next?
All right, I think this is number 5, isn't it?
It is.
We once again flying out of Kansas City. We've done that 3 times. All 3 times something horrible has happened, like forgetting shoes. So, first world horrible. We're on the road to Kansas City, and Claire, who has some chronic knee issues, chronic hip issues, spends lots of time in the physical therapy office. When she walks into the physical therapy office, she like waves to the whole room. Everybody waves back. It's like Cheers. She doesn't know what Cheers is, but I said, is it kind of like Cheers? I'm like, does everybody know your name? She's like, yeah, they all know my name. I'm like, so it's like Cheers. Anyway, she's a mess. And we're like an hour down the road. I think I forgot my knee brace. Yeah. Like, she can't walk a long ways without that knee brace, because it was great. So we then when we get to Kansas City, everything's closed already. So no Target runs because it was a late night getting in. So then we Amazon Prime a knee brace to the resort, but it was a whole day later. Yeah, so then she went a day in the parks without a knee brace. We kept offering to get her a wheelchair, and she kept saying no. So finally, by day 3 of that trip, we had forced her into a wheelchair because we were tired of leaving her behind, because we're that kind of family. But yeah, for getting a knee brace. So our kids pack themselves mostly. And so
I've not gotten to that stage yet.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a very weird stage, but we probably need a little more solid checklist. Like, things like contacts have been forgotten. Like, didn't know we needed to remind you that you needed something
To be able to
see.
see, yes.
Like, I get it. You took them out before you packed, and like you didn't need to see the pack. Glasses have also been forgotten because they had their contacts in when we left.
Mm-hmm.
Sunglasses, I think, are the most common thing forgotten when you take that early flight out in the morning.
Yep.
But the knee brace was bad, so she ended up in a wheelchair. And I met one of our listeners, chatted with her while, I was sitting in the wheelchair while they were on Guardians. And so I messaged her like, well, I'm the guy sitting in a wheelchair. And of course they're like, oh, what happened? I'm like, I'm fine. Don't worry. It's my 13-year-old. She's a mess. Ugh, kids, Derek.
Kids.
Have
Could
you
have a whole
noticed a
episode
theme?
with, failing
Most
with
of
kids,
the fails
yes.
are the kids failing.
Nope, I still make a lot. I have an honorable mention too. So,
Okay.
My other fail that I think people can learn from is poncho, rain gear. It does rain in Florida. I have failed at that numerous times at the parks. But my favorite one, while I was thinking, I was like, oh, which story do I tell?
I hope it's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, no, the one with when we have Michelle, you and me, and we're trying to go to Dinosaur,
Yep.
and it's pouring down, and then we literally the queue goes outside of Dinosaur.
We're going to get inside.
And the queue is not inside,
No,
so it moved.
I did not know that.
Yep, the queue goes outside when it gets too long. So we're just sitting in line getting drenched, and there's not a single dry part of my body, including my socks, which gives me the other bonus one. I have forgotten extra socks on, I've done 21.
Extra?
I've
You
just,
just mean normal and out.
I always bring the normal amount, but it's always, or maybe I have forgotten the normal amount before. But like, if my feet get wet, I'm screwed because I never have the extra pair. I do now mostly, and I have had to blow dry socks. On at least 3 trips.
All with me, I feel like.
No, one of them was without you. It was in the yachtsman with my kids one trip.
The yachtsman? You're blow drying socks in the yachtsman?
I did,
Derek?
yes.
In the restaurant?
No, not the yacht club. Sorry, yeah.
That's why they didn't have prime
rib. They didn't have prime rib
night.
because I was using the
You're
socks,
using the
yes.
heating up your socks.
I was like, oh, you dry age your steaks? My socks could dry in here.
Yeah. Let me just... You undertell the story of the ponchos. So we were ill prepared for the ponchos, the 3 of us, right? We're like, oh, we can beat the rain to dinosaur. We did not.
Nope.
Like the heavens opened up and like just a lake fell on Orlando. And then we're like, oh, we're going to go in. You go in the entrance and then it turned right. And so this was in September of 2020. So it was the social distance queues. So there was parts of a queue we didn't know existed.
Nope.
Like it wraps around outside. And the only reason we were outside was because of everybody was 6 feet apart.
Yep.
You know, that line it was not long, but oh my gosh, I think we were outside for 20 minutes and just
soaked.
Downpour.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, you know, we were done at Animal Kingdom and it was like 1 and we couldn't hop.
Yep.
So we just like went back to the hotel, sat there and stared at each other because there's nothing. It was a weird
trip. Glad
one
we
of
did
the
that trip.
best trips ever, but one of the weirdest.
Yeah.
We went to Kona that night though, but you would have had to use a second pair of socks.
I probably did.
Yeah, and then you probably blow dried your shoes.
Yep, probably did do that.
The room probably still smells.
Probably still does. I will not do that on the Star Cruiser in May.
Well, I hope not. I'm going to be honest, if it's raining on our excursion day, you just go over, do the 2 attractions, and come back, right?
Okay. Maybe.
I think so. Maybe get a drink at Oga's.
Yeah, we definitely have to go to Oga's as a group.
We have learned you don't need to do all the extra crap.
Yes.
It didn't matter.
Nope.
Did not matter. It doesn't matter how many radars I tune.
That was a fail. Derek and Doug tried to do all the things, and it didn't do anything. That was a huge fail. We didn't do any attractions. We just kept doing the little searches.
2 attractions, drink at Ohana's, eat lunch. Yeah, take it easy.
There you go. All right.
All right, that was a little bit off topic. Sorry.
It happens.
But yeah, ponchos, rain gear, be prepared.
It does rain.
Oh my gosh, we were not. I was. If you didn't tell that story, I was getting that because that's my biggest poncho fail to date.
Yep.
Easily, we got so soaked, and like the best part is we thought, oh, we're gonna get out of the rain. We were literally running.
We did.
And then we got out for about 2 seconds, and then the line turned to the right. We're like, what is this?
My other favorite poncho story is that I buy the $1 ones, and I hook them on things, and they rip right off my body. So that has happened now twice.
They don't always rip off your body. The one time it tried to kill you.
It did. It choked me out.
It kept choking you.
It did. So
like you couldn't loosen it, and
I feel like I need to buy. Well, and actually, what's funny is I do have higher quality ponchos now. We just reuse the Disney ones over and over again.
Yeah, but it's hard to pack those, right? That's the thing.
Yep.
Like when you're running out of space, you're packing.
They all go under the stroller.
Oh,
but once we're done with the stroller,
it's
we're
rough.
At that. Yep.
Yeah, you don't know what to do with your ponchos once you use them. The stroller is nice for some things.
So the other fail, back to my phone getting wet, is that I had all the ponchos, and like me and Callum were doing something else when that rain came down. So I had to go find our stroller. It wasn't rain ready, so the stroller's soaked. And now I have to go across the park to my wife and kids who don't have ponchos, and they're just getting drenched as can be over by Splash Mountain. So
yeah, I'm sure no one was upset with you.
Well, and the fact that rainstorm comes out, it can come out of nowhere in Florida. Like it'd be like, oh, it's clear as day, and then it's like a lightning round of rain.
Yeah, you got to know which direction in the sky to watch. I mean, we've been there enough; we kind of know what to look on the horizon for. And what's amazing about it is it can pour at the Magic Kingdom and not a drop at Hollywood Studios.
Yep,
it is crazy like that.
Yep. So there you go. There are fails, but we want to hear from you. What are your fails at Walt Disney World? So go on to all the things at Rope Drop Radio and follow us, and that will be our question for this week. But yes, I'm sure we missed some that we have done, and you know what? We're going to have more to come.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you'll have some good ones from Alani.
I'm sure I will.
Because that's a new thing. And then I mean, we'll all be there in another week for a day. I'm sure I'll do something stupid.
We always do. It's all for the podcast.
That's right. When we have a fail, it's research.
It is.
Yeah,
it's just content
and research.
Yep.
When I order something I don't like, I do it for research. It's not because I made a poor decision looking at the menu.
Gotta try it all. Exactly. So there you go. That is our fails for the week. That is our show. We're going to get on to the after show. If you want to be a part of that and hear that show, you're going to have to go into the show notes and click that Patreon link and help us support and grow the show and keep leaving reviews so we can maybe someday catch up, but hopefully not. And of course, if you want to fail or succeed at Walt Disney World and want to book a trip, you will do the one thing you cannot fail at, and that is using tourplans.com/travel. Their destination specialist will help you have an awesome experience. There's no failure when you do that one. That is the one thing. Knock it out of the park every time.
You get the Lines app
with
all the extra data, and you can do the custom touring plans.
How many times I've failed going to the wrong line at the wrong time? Yeah.
Right? You got to do the optimized touring plan, my friend.
There you go.
And you get that for free when you book with a Touring Plans travel agent.
Perfect. That is how we're going to end the show. So to the after show we go, but thank you guys so much for listening. For Doug, I'm Derek. It's been Rope Drop Radio.